Hello, everybody. This is the Screen Chronicles. I'm Steve. With me, as always, is Cobstone. Today, we have on a very special guest. He's been in many works, including Tom of Finland. But if you know us, you probably recognize him from the new Netflix hit movie, Seven Kings Must Die. Thank you for coming on, Pekka Strang. Is that right?
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Awesome.
perfect pronunciation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, Pekka, you played Anlaf in the new Netflix film Seven Kings Must Die. We love the Vikings in the show. We have always loved the Vikings in the show, and
Okay.
so we were very excited to meet a new one. And you come right on in and start the movie off coming in on the ships.
Yes.
Really setting the tone of the film, we thought. But before we jump into the Last Kingdom talk and the Seven Kings Must Die talk, how are you doing?
Well, thanks for asking. I'm okay. We're renovating a house we just bought in the autumn. So it's built in 1940, like a wooden house. So I know nothing about renovating houses. So we're just it's a nice process, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm in the middle of that, but I'm really happy to talk to you guys.
Awesome.
Well, thanks. How did you get into acting, Pekka?
Well, I was like 8 years old or something, and a local newspaper came and did these interviews that they do with kids. So, what are you going to do when you grow up? And oh, there's my food is arriving.
Oh, you got food coming.
Just yeah, but not here. It's home to the
Oh.
kids. So it's going to work out. So yeah, they were asking like they did a thing at our school, just asking kids that what do you want to do when you grow up, and I said I'm going to be a chef or an actor.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm quite surprised myself. But and sometimes when I'm telling this story, I'm like, did I make this up, or because something uh, drew me to it, and I don't know what it was, and I probably still don't. Then I got into theater school when I was 19. We got like a theater
Nice.
academy, like a state-driven theater academy. Did that, and now I'm here. So
And do you do any cooking? Are you a chef in any way, shape, or form?
well, as I just said, I ordered food, so
Yeah, so
I
no.
think I failed that one. I like cooking, but I have a few really good like gourmet chefs friends, and they just told me that it's a good hobby, but it's a shitty way to make a living. So I think I'm okay. And I worked in a kitchen when I was like 15, 16 for a couple of summers, and I worked as a waiter too. But yeah, I might do it someday. But yeah, till now, I prefer acting, so it's okay.
Was there movies when you were young then that made you want to be an actor then?
Sure, I mean, like probably my favorite movies back then was like Star Wars and
Yeah.
Karate Kid and Police Academy. You remember these?
Yes,
Police
yes.
Academy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and of course Beverly Hills Cop and these things. But then I also had an uncle who was really into Charlie Chaplin
Oh, perfect.
and silent movies, and he showed me these, and I was sort of I really liked the comic aspect of them, and they were really like moving also. Yeah, I think those movies probably meant a lot to me, and they still do. And I showed my own kids Chaplin's like
That's
they're
awesome.
now they're like 100-year-old movies, but they still
I
do
know.
work because he really reaches something in something about humanity or
It's amazing.
what's funny about comedy. So yeah, I love them.
That's amazing. I love those old ones too. A lot of the stuntmen back in those old movies were
Uh-huh.
like true, like balls to the walls, like almost gonna die stuntmen.
Yeah, I
Buster
think
Keaton and guys
many
like
of
that,
yeah
and
many of them died probably.
yeah, I think probably that's so interesting. I'm glad you mentioned Star Wars because Steve and I, as we've been discussing Seven Kings Must Die, have sort of
Hmm.
labeled Anlaf the Palpatine, the Emperor Palpatine of Seven Kings Must Die.
Okay.
And the reason we say that is because he sort of pits both sides against each other.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's
That's interesting. I never thought about it that way. He's quite like an hands-on politician.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, that's awesome. That's
How
awesome.
did you get into the movie then? What? What drew you to this, or did they look for you?
Uh,
Or?
I'm standing still so I can take.
I know. I was
my
gonna say. I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah. I just got from my agent, like got this casting call, and she asked me to make a self tape. I actually had never heard about the series.
Yeah.
Had no idea, and there was just this 3-4 pages scene with a lot of different names. I think
Oh yeah.
it was the scene probably that we did with when all the kings are gathered around the fire
Right.
and Uthred's there. I think that was the scene. I had no idea who's who, and had no time to find out either.
Right.
I got some feeling for what the scene is about and who what drives Anlaf, and of course I got some character description and we shot it with my wife just in our living room, and when we had to stop a few times because we started laughing because I had such a huge problem with the names and
Oh my God.
yeah, and then they liked it, and which was fun, and then we had another casting just like through Skype, and that was also really nice. I met Ed, the director.
Yeah.
Suddenly I was in Hungary, so
I mean, we've heard it was a pretty quick turnaround too from some of the other actors.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I don't know why, but yeah, suddenly you're in the set and sitting in a makeup chair. The day I arrived, they drove me straight to some special effects makeup artist who took some molds so we could get the teeth done. And yeah, and it's funny because I've never played anything like this, like
Right.
any kind of warriors, just like mostly depressed middle-aged men. That's my specialty. And nothing like in this. I don't know. You can't call Last Kingdom probably fantasy, but it's some kind of. I mean, it's not completely true to history, though.
Right.
I've
Right.
heard it's one of them who comes quite close, especially with the historic happenings and
Absolutely.
stuff. It was interesting, and they just asked me, "Can you ride a horse?" And I said, "Sure, no problem."
Oh, really? Had you ever
But
ridden one before?
yeah, actually on stage I've ridden
On
in a
stage?
children's
Oh,
play. Yeah,
oh, interesting.
the stage was turning in one direction and we rode the horses in the other direction. So I
Wow.
was so I had some, but still, but they didn't say that you have to wear like 40 dead animals and
Yeah.
and,
In your
and
hair
sit on
too.
the horse and the hair and it's things you don't know, but it's an interesting experience in many ways.
Yeah. Did you have any interest, like in the history of this time? Like, is this something that you had wanted to do, or was just kind of an opportunity that came up and you took it?
To be honest, what intrigued me was that it was so far away from anything I've done before, and I
Cool.
was mostly sort of interested in can I pull it off, and what does it mean? And with pulling off, I don't mean like faking it or anything. It was more like, am I up to this task? Because it's a different kind of acting. It's somewhere in between like action and still you have to be true to the character, and then again it's a bit like off some kind of reality or
Right.
realism. It's so I had no idea, and I haven't acted that much in English before
Oh,
either.
really?
And once you get used to talking, it's much easier. Now I haven't spoken English in quite a while, so it's sort of like it's like an old machine getting started.
Right. Well,
But then again, acting you have to in some way make it sound like you came up with the things you're saying. That is not just
right. Right.
pre-written. And the first day I was super nervous on set. I was felt like I was not up to the task, and
Okay.
so that was quite nervous. And everybody was so nice to me, but still,
Oh,
I
that's
mean, you
awesome.
can't help it. You can't help
Of
yourself.
course.
I
What
mean,
was
you
the
can.
first scene you shot?
It was when we're sitting by the fire. Just I'm sitting with three of the kings, I think.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
a
it's
pretty
like
big
an
first scene to do too. That's like,
yeah.
I think the Island of Man, right? That's
An Isle of
Yeah.
Man. The Isle of Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know the movie better than me.
Absolutely. Have you seen it yet?
Yes, watched the best bits. It all made much more sense to me when I saw it because
Right.
when you're just reading the script and when we had a read through and people weren't and everybody wasn't there, and so just trying to follow, and because most of the cast, especially from the main characters, they know each other, so they were like really fast with their discussions and stuff, and it was just like who's who, and
Oh wow.
yeah, I think it all makes sense when you see it. I think
Totally.
it looks quite nice, and especially the big scenes with all the extras. It's amazing.
Oh man, amazing.
We liked Anlaf, and I think a lot of the fans watching it did too, because people keep asking us to have you on.
Okay.
So
Here I am.
have you had a good fan reaction? Have you seen anything yet from the fans?
Well, I've probably gotten a few more followers on Instagram, but I think that's it. And some nice comments from people around the world. But I don't know. I'm renovating our house at the moment.
You're
so
busy.
So yeah,
Life is busy right now.
Life is busy.
Life is busy, and I'm working on some other stuff at the moment. I was a bit surprised that people sort of liked it because it's a year ago and things move on, and I had no idea how big it was,
So what was your reaction when it was the #1 movie in the world its opening weekend?
I'm so used to it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just another one of my works. Yeah.
No, I'm really not. No, to make sure, I'm really not. So I don't know how to react. I don't know how do you need to react to those things. I don't know. It's just like I'm happy that if people like it, I'm really happy. And of course, here in Finland, I didn't tell anyone. I don't have any press agent who's like preparing the press that soon something's going to happen or anything. So they were quite surprised also here because I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I was I was just hanging out in Hungary for 2 months. So yeah.
And then when they watch it, you're like the first face you actually see in the movie.
Some old friends have actually texted me. That's super nice. That they're like, I just started to watch the series, and you're on it, and I haven't seen them in years. So I think that's really nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you actually get to ride in those Viking ships that they come in on?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's quite authentic, actually. Everything, and it's in some way with I mean, also the fighting scenes with all the horses coming and going, and of course the axes aren't like you can't hit with them, but still, if you hit someone, you're gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt still.
Totally.
I mean, I think also extras and the stunts have been doing these scenes for years, and I was new on the set, so I had no idea how fast they were working, like just okay, we're gonna not really improvising, but almost like, so here's one scene, so you're just gonna hit that one, and then you just go to the side and hit someone else. So that was also interesting, and I was backing up at some point, and suddenly a horse was just like behind me, and I was like, whoa, and I got a bit scared, and but I had a good chat with the producers, and of course we had there was like safety supervisors and everything, but just for me it was a new experience.
It's like you're in a battle.
Yeah,
real.
But it makes it quite real. I mean, there's like over 200 people just pushing in different directions, and then you got the camera going there. But it looks great. So I think they know what they're doing.
Totally.
Did you do any training for the film? Did Levente Lizac, did he do any sort of horse and combat stuff with you?
Yeah, I got to ride a horse for a couple of times, and of course they asked me what I need, but I don't know what I need. So, and we did some fighting training with the stunts with Levente and his guys, and they were super professional. Of course, they were up to the task because they read the script from a totally different angle. When I read a fight, it's just more like okay, against who and why. What's the motivation? Okay, it's his daughter, and so she dies, and what to expect after that, and it starts to make sense when you're there. And we actually shot an extra scene also after the fight when it was in the original script. They just written that they Anlaf and the other kings after their kin has died, they ride away on horses, and that's just how they leave. Ed Bazalgette, the director, was talking that it's like it's a sad ending, sort of when you get used to a character, you want to see how it ends. So there's this scene in the forest in the end when Anlaf tries to get some boats and everybody's just leaving. So that was like written during the shoot.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. That's a great scene because
that's a good scene too.
He's sort of like at the beginning of the film, we see him like he's the man in control. He's got all these followers and he's recruiting all these kings. And then like that last scene, he's like all alone, like he's abandoned, you know?
Exactly.
Just kind of standing there with his tail between his legs, almost like, which is interesting, you know?
Yeah. I think it was a nice scene, and we were all happy that the production company and that they were up to sort of making these changes, and if I understand it correctly, it's not that common that you get to do these things. So I
now
really
I'm trying to
it.
imagine the movie without that scene, and I can't
exactly.
Really. It would be like empty. It'd be like, oh well, what happened with them? They just died in the battle, or they, you know, like. So yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, seems essential.
Yeah, suddenly.
Let's talk about that first scene though, when we first meet the Wolfpack of Danes that you're leading into England. What was filming that scene like then with your crew of Danes and coming in as a Viking?
What can I say? We just I mean we shot it in so small bits, so but when I read the script, I really what I liked was that also what intrigued me was that he starts the movie and it's straight into action.
Yeah.
They just sort of raid the village, and so you know who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to introduce a character, and then Anlaf disappears for quite a while.
Right.
It was also one of the first scenes we shot, and it was nice to see how the stunt guys was working on this. When we work with, I think with at least 2 cameras and sometimes 3 cameras, and how they sort of just like make the action look really cool. It's just like
they really do.
Now we're here, and then they just throw each other, and the camera turns, and then there's something going on, and it's of course if I don't make my lines or something in the first take, you have to like restart everyone, so you can't sort of just back up. I'll just back up 2 lines because they're already like fighting.
Oh my god!
Like 20 meters away. So yeah, it's an interesting way to work, and it's also now knowing how the shoot is done in especially in, I don't know about other series from with this same theme, but I think it would be interesting sort of to start again. I think I would understand a lot more how it works, and you just try to hang on and get the character sort of get the intensity of the scene still done, even though there's so much going on.
So, did you actually get to throw the axe at the beginning there?
Yes, and
cool?
Yes, but I almost hit him because it was just like I was afraid to hit him in the head. He had some kind of something on his back, so it wouldn't have been that bad.
But you want it to be real. You want it to be real, so it's like
yes, exactly.
Just do it.
And but the stunt guys were just no, just throw it. It's not a problem. Just throw it.
Amazing.
Especially when the other one comes to talk and says, no, you can throw at him. No, you can hit him as hard as you want. And then the guy who probably doesn't speak that good English is just like, yeah, come on, it's okay. But it's an interesting way of filming.
That's cool. Now, when you got the role as Anlaf, What kind of research and preparation did you do coming into the film?
I don't do that much research. I think about acting like because also when I've played like real life characters, and I've done a few, you can never be the character in real life. People are much more interesting than what fiction is. And you can always just bring some light to the character from some point of view. And I think that if it's not in the scene, it's really hard to bring it there. So my main tool is the script, and it's the scene and the different scene, and to sort of build a character that sort of makes sense and feels, if not logic, still in that it makes sense why he does the things he does, even if they might be like out of this world. It still has to sort of fit the world of the character or the story. And while we were shooting this, Russia attacked Ukraine.
Oh wow!
Which of course made you think about war. And I mean, it's the same. It's the same fight going on that went on then, and it's the same fight that goes on today. That's the only thing that changes is
the tools they use,
the tools they use, and the weapons. But people are still the same, with the same fears, and so that was one thing that I, especially into the big fight scene, that I was thinking about a lot. And I watched. I tend to watch a lot of documentaries when I'm playing something. I think documentaries are a better tool for an actor than watching other actors act something.
Okay, fair enough.
Because that's where you get sort of the idea, so that they have to sort of remind you in some way of life, of real life. I just remember this. I was watching a documentary. It was during the pandemic, so I spent a lot of time just in the hotel room, just watching different stuff.
Yep. And, so did we all. Yeah.
And I watched a documentary about the uprising in Kiev in Ukraine.
Okay.
From 2014, I can't remember. It was Winter on Fire, I think it's called.
Okay.
And they had this big protest on the square, on the Maidan Square, that went on because they tried to get rid of the corrupt government. They started shooting on their own people during that time. And I remember a scene when there's a guy there's a few bodies laying on just on the streets of Kiev, and he's trying to go there and get the bodies away back to their base.
Right.
Just this guy dressed just like you or me at the moment.
Right.
And then when he gets shot, it's like turning off, and he dies. So and it was so dramatic, because it was just like somebody just pulled the switch, pulled the plug, just like off. It's from on, and then suddenly it's just like, and there's nothing dramatic about it.
Yeah.
It's just like life just disappears, and he's just. So when there's the scene with Anlaf's daughter,
Astrid,
when she gets shot by an arrow, and it hits straight in the lung.
Moment. Yeah.
And I remember we discussed this with the director. I said I was talking to him about. And also to the Stunts, to Levente, about. And I saw this, that when people die, they just like go away, and because he's a warrior, so he knows that when she gets, the arrow hits the lung, so she's gonna die in let's say 5 seconds, and then life is over, so that there's no big like reaction to it.
Right.
Like, oh shit, what happened? Oh, my daughter. Like
you hold her in your arms for 5 minutes.
And crying, and then go. And I watched. I did watch a few earlier seasons from The Last Kingdom. And the story is sometimes that there's a Viking king who loses his child, and he goes for revenge.
Exactly.
And they often go for revenge, sort of like oh, I killed my daughter, and I'm gonna kill you. That's sort of that's
Right.
so and because this is the last movie and the last thing to end. I was thinking that I want to do it in a bit of a different way.
Sure.
So that he just sees her die and he just continues. And there's no like emotion that like up or down. I think we tend to sort of romanticize fights and war
Right.
a lot more than they are. And if you look at, which you shouldn't, but if you're stuck in a hotel room in Budapest, you can watch like real war footage.
Right.
And it's actually really dramatic because there's no big emotions, unless you get hit there, and the people are really like panicking.
Right.
That's the first like if you get people go back into a stage like they sound like I think like 7 or 8-year-old kids getting
right.
hurt.
Like the fear must be so intense.
Exactly.
The fear that they feel, and
Yeah. So we were getting news all the time from what the happenings in Ukraine and Russia, and I think that at least for me it made sort of an impact too. That we're telling the same story.
Yeah.
That's happening today. It's but in a different time. So
it's so weird. Speaking of documentaries, I've just watched a documentary, funny enough, about chimpanzees. It just came out on Netflix. It's a great documentary called Chimp Empire, and it's crazy. Those same similarities, like Putin invading Ukraine, invading England, and like that's the same thing these chimpanzees do.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen this documentary, but yeah,
it's amazing when you watch that and you see so many social similarities between them. Obviously, our closest living ancestor.
Yeah,
it's like you almost see the humanistic evolutionary drive to invade and to fight, and it's kind of crazy, and the violence. You know,
go to war, chimps.
To go to war. I don't know.
Come on, chimps, get it together.
Come on,
it was wild to watch that. It was wild to watch that. But,
yeah, exactly. I get it.
That moment specifically with Astrid, we love that. Anlaf puts the axe in her hand. Yes. Obviously, that's a huge thread throughout TLK about the afterlife.
That was actually Levente who told me. He said that.
Yes, Levente.
Put the axe so she can get to heaven, to Valhalla.
To Valhalla.
10 points for Levente.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was great. I can't take any of that to myself. So yeah, that was Levente.
But that moment was really super well done. That moment. Turn around, ready to go. Is fantastic, and I also love the moment in that battle when you turn around and watch the other kings leaving the scene, and you're just like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, I think it must have felt a bit like, it must feel a bit like that when you're. I think people are lost when they're fighting. I think you're such, and suddenly you wake up and like, what's going on? And because there's so much adrenaline and so much noise and smell and everything. So I think sometimes you just look up and you like realize that there's what's going on. So yeah, but the other ones were leaving.
We thought this battle too, they did a good job of like making it super gritty and realistic. They had people throwing up and peeing themselves, and like it really gave you that sense that it's just a mess. These kind of battles are just totally a mess.
Yeah. And I think what's it called? The real battle, that it's one of the bloodiest battles in history.
Brunenberg. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where they think England was like formed. So
exactly. Yeah.
So, you mentioned it was a big change for you getting into these stunts, and it was kind of crazy and hectic with the horses and everything. Was there anything you really enjoyed though doing in the battle yourself?
I wish I could say yes. But I don't know. Now I think I'm really happy that I was there, but it's I don't know.
But in the moment, it was intense, huh?
It was intense. I think it was intense, and of course, you're also trying to. I think it's not only about fighting; it's also knowing because I come from such a different I've done so different characters, so I really try to focus on what he's going through in the fight, what the different scenes mean. So it's not just, and I'm not that great of a stunt guy, so I can't just sort of. If I think I hit somebody with an axe in his head.
Yeah, you have like a
Actually,
couple.
yeah, but I accidentally also
Oh, you did.
hit,
Oh,
hit one of the extras. So like just swinging, and I was just like, oh shit. And if you're a real warrior, you probably don't stop just like, oh, I'm sorry.
oh my God, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean that.
Oh my
So,
God.
but I enjoyed the noise and the real. They really do work with so many extras, and we're working
Yeah.
in a muddy field, even though it gets a bit cold and stuff. And like cowards like me, just like yeah, I would just like to get some warm shoes. I enjoyed it. I'm really happy about just being on the show and about all the experiences I got, and especially about everyone on the set being super nice. And
That's
it's
awesome.
you can really tell that they've been working. It's more like a family. And first
Yeah.
you're sort of the new kid, and that's always a bit like, but they really take you into the whole field. So that's quite nice.
We
Would
love
you
to hear it.
would you
Yeah.
do another movie or a show like this then again? Now that you have gone out and
Yeah, I think it's always the first one. I mean, life is a learning process, and especially when you do something for the first time, it's always hectic, and there's something good about that because just about the energy about doing something for the first time. But
Yeah.
once you've done it, it's just like, okay, if I could go back, I would probably be more relaxed and maybe could pull some things off, even get something more interpreted about the character or about just enjoying yourself more. It's just like we just spoke today with my wife. If we could just start the renovating of the house from the
Yeah.
very beginning, we've done a few things a bit differently. I would be interested in doing something like this because now I know what it is. A year ago, everything was sort of for the first time, so just trying to understand what's happening.
Yeah. Be cool to have you back as Anlaf again. The real Anlaf actually
Mhm.
goes on after the movie ends.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes back to Ireland and in history, and then he actually
Yeah,
not in the books, Bernard Cornwell, but he actually returns to England later on again.
hmm,
we'll see. You
Yeah,
never know.
it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think TLK is done. I'm not sure, but
No, I
if
think
I
it is.
understood it
I think
correctly,
it is. Yeah,
yeah, I
no.
think so.
We
Yeah.
but fans, we have to lobby for it the hardest we
yes.
can because we're gonna miss it so bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Did you have any input in your look? Because you had a pretty unique Viking look in this movie with the sort of what do you call it?
Goatee.
The beard that you had and like the wool
Yeah.
hair and the dreads that coming down. Did you have any input into the hairstyle?
The only thing I think my input was that he needs to have like red eyes because he's eating so much meat, and
Ah,
especially when he's eating human flesh. So he needs to be sort of he's in a state of like what's the state like what you take antibiotics for? What's when you
like an
got like
infection,
when
like an
Infection?
infection.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's his body is infected. so
yeah.
that was my only input. But she came up with the whole thing with the like the wolves hanging from the beard and all the hair and the putting the small dead
Yeah.
animals also in the hair and
Oh man,
everything. So
that was all the rage
uh
back then. I mean,
yeah,
that was what was
All
in.
the kids were doing that.
exactly.
I don't know why
Yeah,
that everyone
I
had a
don't know.
style, but how long would it take to get ready? The long process to get into hair and makeup, and
It was about 4 hours.
wow,
Yeah.
wow,
Because they need to sew everything in and about 1 hour, 1.5 hours to take everything off. So,
Whew,
so
it's long days.
yeah, it's like yeah, but it's just like you put yourself in some kind of a standby mode. You're not like
Right,
sleeping, but you're not doing anything. You just stare, and
just like a
yeah, it's
recharge
just
mode.
Yeah, and
No
it's
way.
quite interesting, sort of meditating, but it hurts a bit when they're sewing. So it's like a meditation with needles sticking. But yeah, I don't know. The days are quite long, so in the end of
Yeah.
the day, you're quite tired, and it's nothing. I mean, it's only acting, so
Absolutely.
it's nothing. Yeah.
And you mentioned how they kind of brought you in and made you part of the family when you got there. And we've seen a lot of fun videos from behind the cameras
Hmm.
and everything. Are there any favorite moments of yours with the cast? Anything that stuck out?
No, I think it was just hang out, especially with Arnes. He always comes up with something, and Mark, and
Yeah.
it was just like going on all the time. But I really like just hanging out in the fields, especially when there was a sunny day, just sitting there with all these everything on you, and then having like some deep conversations about
Yeah, yeah.
life, and suddenly you just start to stare at the other one, and you're like, okay, it's like being at a masquerade, like for weeks. It felt a bit like Burning Man. I've never been there, but it's like
You
everybody
should
get dressed. Yeah.
I want to you should go to Burning Man dressed as Anlaf. That'd be
Uh,
you'd fit right in probably.
Will I will
No,
be
I don't know.
anything extra. No, I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the costume was really. There was some Italian designers,
Yeah.
and when they just like the first day was just like putting on one dead animal after another, just like boom, and
Oh my
so
God.
it actually weighed quite a lot. But
Did it really?
yeah,
Yeah. It looked like a lot. Your costume looked pretty robust.
Mm.
I liked it. I liked a lot your like chest armor.
yeah,
It wasn't like clean and straight. It was sort of raggedy and like I think
yeah,
looked a little
yeah,
worn. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
yeah. They did great work on it. So.
That's
So
awesome.
another great scene, one of my favorite scenes from the movie, is when all the kings get together there and are trying to convince Uhtred to join them or to
Yeah,
kill Ethelstan. Can you maybe talk about doing that scene there? How was that? That's when you did your self tape for too, right?
yeah. Well, I think we did it in actually a few days actually. Like
Right.
we shot the beginning, and then we got back to the scene a few days later. And I think my first input was quite sort of theatrical. I think, and in the end, we just the take that I think they went with was just like really, really like. Subtle, and just like every line was just like thrown in there, so we're not like talking about these big political movements, but it's
Right.
just like an everyday life for a Viking warrior back then. But
Yeah.
this is just like moving pieces, so it's and I think that was quite interesting, and of course also just sitting with all the guys just around the fire for an hour or a few hours was quite nice also, and the set was beautifully done. It was up on a hill, and the actual stairs that Utrecht comes in was actually in a quite special place. So and we got the fire going. So and all the skin is on you, so you could just sort of relax and
Oh, yeah.
fall asleep at some point. So
And what was it like working with Alexander Draymond too in that scene?
yeah, it was. I mean, he knows the character so well, and he knows
Yeah.
everything, and he comes so well prepared every time. So it was nice. Yes,
Yeah.
all the other guys also. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so much fun, and so yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Rod Hallett, who plays Constantine, kept telling us
Hmm.
how funny you were. I think did someone else tell us? Everyone, I think a couple people at least told us that you were one of the funny guys on set, and they like doing scenes with you
Oh,
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I like shooting. It's not so, especially like these kind of scenes that makes sense, and and you can sit down
Yeah.
and relax. So we had a good time, and I think it's also really important to when you're shooting a scene that it shouldn't really differ from how you talk before and
Right.
before they
Okay.
say action. or how you talk after they say thank you. Yeah, I mean, it should come from the same place. Of
Okay.
course, the emotions or the thoughts can differ a lot. I mean, you're talking about conquering England or killing someone or making an assassin or whatever, but still, it needs to start from your guts. Like, I mean,
Right.
the idea needs to sort of evolve from the same spot, so it doesn't come from somewhere else in your body. I mean, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I mean,
Right.
you have to be sort of. I myself, I like to work that, so I understand what the characters are going through, and
Absolutely.
I try to sort of make them the big things that they do in these scenes to get so close to what it could be for me in my life. Losing a kid, of course, I understand. I got three kids of my own, so I understand the grief and the shock of that. But I've never conquered anything bigger than just something like a playground. But I've sat in different hard negotiations about stuff, and
Okay.
I try to bring the problems and try to interpret the problems to my life today, so you don't paint a picture of something that's not real, or
Right.
so that you know what
Keep
you're
it
doing.
grounded and yeah, it
Yeah,
becomes more
in
believable, I
some way.
guess, on our end.
I hope
For
so.
sure.
I
Oh,
hope
it
so
does. Yeah,
because it should. It
it
should.
should. Yes, and it does.
Yeah.
It does. It
Okay.
definitely.
Good.
Do you start thinking those things when you're reading the script, or is that more like the day you're on set, you start drawing from those experiences?
I think the work starts instantly. I think once you open the first page, and also it starts already in the casting process. The once you get a scene,
Yeah.
something happens. You get like the first intuition, and I don't know if you always should follow the first idea, but there's
Okay.
something right in that. There's something like believable in the approach to how you read it, and I think the work is ongoing as long as you're shooting until the last day.
Totally.
You are sort of in, and everything you, as I already told you, everything you watch during the shoot and the period of shooting, everything you discuss with people, it all somehow relates to what you're doing. Or at least that's how I work, and that's sort of the big story of the character. Or but the different scenes are, you can't sort of you can't do it by yourself. You need
Right.
everyone. You need your everyone, and with co-workers. I'm not talking only about actors or
Right.
directors. I mean the props and everything.
Absolutely.
We're all working together with the same thing, and my part is just like 20% of that, in the editing and the music and the
Totally.
writing of the scenes and everything. So everyone brings
And
their own
that's what we love about Last
ingredient.
Kingdom is it seems like they are so solid in almost every one of those aspects, whether it's the acting, whether it's the
Mm,
sets, the costumes, the music. I mean, it's all top notch, for sure.
yeah,
And it just seems like it's such a team aspect on set, and everybody respects each other. That's the vibe we've gotten, at least.
yeah, yeah. So it seems, and I think that's the way it should be on any set. I mean,
Absolutely.
at the moment when we actors start to think that we're sort of above anybody else, we're gonna it's not gonna make sense, because
Right.
that's when you start to get sick, and then you start to believe that you're sort of special, and
Yeah.
and it's only teamwork. It's only teamwork.
Absolutely. What are some things that you love about your character Anlaf?
I like the sort of political aspects,
Yeah.
and the
It's
I
very
like the side of,
calculated. Yeah.
yeah, and I like the side of him that not so sort of like the insecurity that you can put somewhere. I think when
Mm.
we're doing a scene with Astrid and I can't remember, it was Ingelmundur, I think.
Engelmunder. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
Ingelmundur, yeah. Laurie. We were doing the scene in the tent, just like, it's
Yep.
I like those moments when you you undress the character, and he's all alone and not sure how things are going to go. And I think those are the interesting moments also as an actor, to sort of draw some attention to the vulnerable part of the Viking warrior.
Right.
But I mean,
Absolutely.
we're all just human. Yeah.
That's cool. And I feel like, I know you watch some of the seasons. It seems like as the show's gone along, there's been like sort of an evolution of the Vikings in the show. From in the beginning, they were more like rash, I felt like, and they seem to
Mhm.
become more calculated and smarter as the show's gone on, and less sort of berserker, I guess,
Yeah,
as the show
probably.
goes on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Also, that scene with Ingolmander, that's where when we were first watching, I was like, hey, he's Palpatine.
He's
Because
Palpatine. He's in control of both.
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the prequel, the trilogy, I don't know if you've seen the prequels for Star
Mhm.
Wars. That's when Darth Sidious has the Republic fighting the Separatists again. So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
so that's what you had Ingolmander stirring up Ethelstan
Yes.
to come invade
Yes.
everyone, and then you're rallying all the kings to get mad about Ethelstan invading everyone.
Yes.
So he's kind of just having both sides fight each other here.
Yeah. Yeah. all about
Unfortunately, he
chaos.
loses though, right? Like
Yeah, but I think it's good for the story that he
Yeah.
loses.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's
If he
as
won
a
and it
fan
just
of
ended.
Uhtred, and but I
Yeah.
meant for you, for
Well,
Anlaf, unfortunately.
for Anlaf, yeah. But that's the thing, when you read about your character, when you read the script, you really have to understand your part in a bigger perspective. So you don't think that you're the main character if you're not.
Absolutely.
It's also about it's also side. You sort of you shed some light from some angle to the story,
Totally.
and that's your mission in that movie.
Yeah.
Ultimately, kind of pushing Uhtred's story further and then contributed to Uhtred's
Exactly.
story. Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It would be a huge mistake to come in and think that Anlaf is the main character of the.
Do you meet other actors that are like that with their characters? They think they should be main character and they're really not, or
well, you can see it in some. I'm not talking about TLK now. Now I'm talking about like work in general. So you can sometimes see like when there's a small character and it's played in a way that you think that it's, especially in these old Law and Order, the series Law and Order.
Yeah.
And they got like these suspects or people getting interrogated, and they are like actors just getting a chance for maybe getting their SAG cards or whatever. And you can really see how they put like everything in one scene, and it's like it's just
a bit
like,
overacted or something, or
it's like 2 minutes, and you should really understand that what you're supposed to do is not to sort of do an audition in the scene. You should just it's for the main characters, and I think you can see it in other stuff too. That but I don't know. I'm not blaming anyone, but I think it's important. And I think it's important that you understand this as an actor, your role, not only as the character, but also your role in the whole story, and what you're supposed to sort of bring to the table.
You've been the lead of some of your films, and then like this, you're more of an antagonist, more of a side character. Do you have a favorite way then for you to play? Do you like to take that lead more? Do you like being more, or is it kind of both?
Well, I think they're like different processes. If you're the lead, if you're sort of the number one, you also have a responsibility towards the others, that to give them the feel of the whole film or the whole series, so that everyone knows that not how to play, but sort of they get the texture of the acting, so that so that we all end up in the same color palette. So and I think that's really important when you're when you're doing like the number one lead roles, just like Alexander in this one, or as he's been doing for 5 seasons and 1 movie. So, but then these villains or these other kinds of characters that just show up here and there, you have to follow there when you have like one scene and then there's 10 scenes in between. You really have to understand how you're coming in and what you're telling in that story. So that's a bit different. And of course, also when you're doing a lead character, you work every day. I mean, you're on the set every day, and you really start to know the whole story and everything. But then the smaller the part is, you just come in here and there. So it's different, and I enjoy both, but I do like to work. So
right. And so you obviously expanded your portfolio with this film, doing something you had not done before.
Yes.
Do you have any other goals, other things you'd like to explore as an actor in the future?
I'm so happy about how things are right now, just in general. in my life. So all these like different jobs, just I feel like I get really interesting parts for at the moment, and then I get to sort of understand new sides of acting in every part, and I think that's really that's the main thing. And also being I've been acting now for 25 years maybe, or something like that. So it's it changes. I'm not so worried about the things I was worried in the beginning of my career, and I'm not so worried about who I am as a person. I am what I am, and I try to. So I really enjoy working at the moment, whatever it is. I'm now doing like a TV format and entertain that I haven't done before, and I hosted our film awards this spring, which was a completely new thing for me, and I had no idea how it will go. And I tried to stand up now.
I was going to ask you about this. I saw. How did that go? That's gotta be scary. I mean, I don't know, like.
It's also for a TV program. So but you need to do it, and it was the first gig went quite okay. I almost forgot to breathe, but I told my jokes and people were laughing, and it went on for about 7 minutes and got off, and I had no idea what happened, but somebody taped it so I could see that I'm quite like nervous. And then I had my other show, and I wasn't as good as the first one because I started to feel a bit too like, I'm gonna do like that, and I started to act like a stand-up comedian. So the third one is coming up at some point, but that's also like exciting, and I think it's I'm in a point of my life where I'm really eager just to try stuff. I'm not. I hope I'm not leaving Earth like I'm not dying like soon, but we never know. So I think about it's quite a lot about enjoying myself at the moment,
experiencing new things and stuff. That's
exactly just like TLK was a completely new like aspect for me, and I really liked it.
You got to be in a medieval battle. That's not something you ever thought you were going to be in.
No, I didn't know that when I was 8. No.
But no big dream as far as like you want to be in Star Wars, or you want to do the next Taxi Driver or something like that.
Well, I don't. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You seem like so open to anything.
It's like why not?
I mean, why not? If they called me and said, "Yeah, we're gonna do Taxi Driver 2 with you," and which sounds like a horrible idea.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, but of course it would be nice, but you never know where life takes you. So I'm right now sitting in a parking lot just outside of Helsinki and talking to you guys, which is the best thing I can do.
Internet weirdos, and
just like me. So I mean, we're all human. It's just really, really so much fun.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that you did stand up. What so if you're not acting or doing those kind of things, what else are you doing? What are some of your hobbies outside of acting? Things you love to do?
Well,
Obviously, you're renovating a house, you have 3 kids,
yeah,
maybe
I'm
not
not
a lot
gonna.
of time for
Yeah,
hobbies, but
I used to skateboard,
right.
but I'm getting too scared for that. But that would be really nice. And I actually hurt my elbow this winter really bad when I was playing ice hockey.
I
So
was gonna
I've
ask
been
if you're
trying
into
to.
hockey.
Yes,
My
well,
favorite player
but
growing up was Timu Solani. He was one of my
no,
favorites.
okay, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, okay,
Ducks.
great, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's one of the big ones, and
Finnish, one of
but
the great
there's
Finnish players.
some new ones now
Oh yeah,
coming up, like
Capo
so.
Caco,
Yeah,
Ristolainen, a lot.
Rantanen, Mikko Rantanen is.
Yes, yeah, Rantanen.
Yeah. So I'm not. I used to go training like 3, 4 days a week, but I haven't done that now in a long time because I'm just
Wow.
trying to get it to work again
Yeah.
normally. But
Yeah,
we'll
we're
see how it
physical
goes.
therapists, so
Yeah.
what do you need to no, I'm kidding. We are physical no, we are physical therapists, but how
You
did you hurt
are.
your elbow in hockey? Yeah.
So I just ran in skated into to some other one. I just fell down with all my weight
Oh,
exactly on the tip of the
the
Or
the
electronon.
electronon
elbow, and
process is
The
what it's called.
electronon
yes,
process.
yes, and it just like sort of it went into like
Did it
like
swell?
no, it just
No.
broke into pieces.
Oh, it broke.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it just like
That's not a
exploded,
fun
and
one. It's not a fun one.
no, and then they opened it up and took out the bones and tried to get it on and put a metal plate
Oh.
there, and some you can feel the screws actually. You
Can you
can feel
straighten your arm?
it's let's say it's about 10 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's better now. But I'm trying to what I really would like to take is like a really heavy kettlebell and just
Yeah.
stand and just let it sort of.
Let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I
Yeah.
should have another time with just
Physio.
like in a week or two. Yeah, we'll
Oh,
see.
perfect.
We'll see. But I'll get there. But thanks.
Yeah, no. We just have a special interest in injuries is all.
Yeah, I
But
get it. Yeah, it was really bad. That's what they told me. I wasn't
yeah.
that worried, but they
Oh
said
man.
that this must have hurt. And I was like, no, not too bad. It's really bad. I was like, okay.
It sounds
The
bad.
surgeon was also.
Elbows
It
are
was
tricky
really
too.
bad.
Getting
Oh man.
back
It's tricky.
after
Yeah,
surgery.
it's like these movements are really hard,
But
but
it's
we'll
the
see.
extension too that takes a
It's
while.
that
Yeah,
extension. It does take some time, but you'll get it.
yeah.
You'll get it.
It's
Now you're a
yeah.
true hockey player. That's a good hockey injury.
I guess so.
It's
I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
Is there
yeah.
any shows or movies that you've recently watched or that you're watching now?
Like everyone else in the world, I'm watching Succession, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I didn't see it from the beginning when it came out. Everybody was talking about it. I was like, oh, fuck,
That's me.
but it's yeah, but it's great, and I'm really waiting to see this new movie called After Sun, which I haven't
Okay.
seen yet, which is supposed to be really great.
So we really appreciate you chatting with us. This has been a lot
It
of
was super
fun
nice,
to discuss
super nice.
the film, and anybody listening to us, go check out Pekka, check out his other works, and we'll definitely be. Oh, real quick, is there anything coming out with you in it soon that you want people to know about?
I can't remember.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
There's probably something coming. I don't
Probably
know.
something.
Look
Yeah.
at his IMDb. We got all of his links down in the description below so you can stay up to date with what he's doing. But yeah, thanks again, Pekka, for coming on. Is there
Thank
anything
you.
you want to say to the fans of Seven Kings Must Die?
Well, just thanks for having me. Also to the fans that I mean, thanks for giving me a chance.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
I know the series is really like people are so devoted. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you in the TLK family as fans. You did an awesome job in Seven Kings Must Die. And everyone listening, we hope that you subscribe to us. We hope you follow and everything like that. We'll be back with more. But for now, goodbye from Pekka Strang and the Screen Chronicles. Destiny is on.